Are you looking to gain muscle? I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly how to put on muscle the right way and outline everything you need to know to do that. So let's get rolling. So first and foremost, let's define what we actually are talking about here. So we're defining about gaining lean muscle tissue. So this is 1 pound of muscle. It's exactly what 1 pound of muscle looks like. As you can see, it's very dense and compact. And muscle is active tissue in your body, which means that muscles help you move, muscles help to change your metabolic rate and how your body digests foods. So muscle is a very, very important tissue, but muscle makes you look drastically different. Muscle makes you look toner, tighter, you look fitter. So the more muscle you have in your physique, the stronger you're going to be, and typically the healthier you are. So this is what muscle is. So when we're talking about gaining muscle, we're talking about adding lean tissue, which is not easy to do, and I'm going to explain. So first and foremost, let's talk about the timeline for gaining muscle. So how long does it take to build muscle? Now again, this doesn't look like a lot, right? It doesn't look like a lot of tissue. It doesn't look like it's something that's going to take a lot of time for your body to build. But in fact, it is the total opposite. Your body does not want this tissue because it's metabolically expensive and it requires a lot of stimulus and a lot of other building blocks to maintain it. So it's very hard for your body to build and maintain muscle. Whereas with body fat is more of like a storage device and your body just stores excess calories in that. So body fat is very easy for your body to make. So that's why it's easier to be overweight than it is to be fit and in shape. So let's define and go through the timeline. So what does it take to build quality muscle? Well, if you do everything correctly, your body is going to take 10 grams of amino acids, essential amino acids, to build muscle per day. That is the maximum amount that your body takes in order to make muscle. So think about it. 10 grams, this is a lot. There's 2,500 calories in 1 pound of muscle. So it's only depositing 10 grams to make 1 pound. So it's going to take a while. So if you had perfect, you did everything right, you followed everything that I gave you on here 100%, you're looking, again, everyone's a little bit different, especially if you're a beginner or you've been doing this a while, but in a general sense, it's going to take somebody 1 pound to gain 1 pound of muscle. It's going to take about 4 weeks. Okay, so if we want to gain 10 pounds, we're looking at about 10 months to do that. And again, that's with a perfect timeline. So think about it. 10 of these dispersed throughout your whole body. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it really will change a lot of things the way your body looks, especially if you follow the protocol here. But pound of this a month, that's not a lot of tissue to be spread throughout your whole body. Pound of this a month times you want to gain 10 pounds, it's going to take you that. So in a hypothetical example here, which is what I forgot to mention before, we have Sally. Sally wants to gain 10 pounds of muscle. That's where I got that 10 pounds from. She is 120 and she's 40 years old, 120 pounds. She's 40 years old. Again, that's irrelevant. You could kind of swap in and out whoever you want to in that case. You know, it could be Mark, he could be 180 and whatever. But you get the idea. Same thing. Sally wants to gain 10 pounds of muscle. So that's why we went to 10. So Sally wants to gain 10 pounds of muscle. It's going to take her 10 months to do that if she does it properly. Now, I want to cover what we call the oopsies timeline. And the oopsies timeline means that we're equating for things happening in life. Oops, I didn't follow my meal plan. Oops, I didn't eat enough protein. Oops, I forgot to train. I've been so stressed. I've missed the gym. I haven't done all this. And an oopsies timeline happens, right? Life happens. Life gets in the way. So how long would it take in an oopsies timeline? So now you're looking at going from 10 months, again, 1 pound of muscle every 4 weeks properly, if you do everything properly. So we'll say it's going to take about, again, every person is different, so it's so hard for me to give an example here, but we'll go 1 pound of muscle on an oopsies timeline we'll go 8 weeks. Again, give or take, everyone's a little different. So it's going to take us 20 months to do that. Same thing. Again, depends on the person listening to this, depends on how long someone's been lifting, things like that. But just a general timeline. So we have 10 months, and we have 20 months. So anywhere between that, and I'm going to teach you in this, if you keep following, keep watching, how to maintain that perfect timeline throughout it so you can build as much muscle as possible rather quickly. So now, how are we going to do this? How are we going to build 10 pounds of muscle? Well, it's not just like, okay, your body can only put in 10 grams of protein per day into a muscle. So if that's the case, I just need 10 grams of protein and I'm covered. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. We have to stimulate our body to make muscle. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to do this with one, proper diet, and two, with a stimulus to tell your body to do this. So the first mechanism is going to be the diet. 70% of your results are going to come from what you eat, and that 70% of your results are going to come from what we call a calorie surplus. So in order to be in an anabolic state, meaning that you're building quality muscle, you need to be eating more calories than your body is burning. So we have to be in what's called a calorie surplus. Because if our body is in a deficit, our body is not going to take that 10 grams of protein and put it toward muscle building. It's going to take it toward maintenance of that. So 70% of your results are going to come from a calorie deficit. The remaining 30% is going to come from the stimulus, which is going to be strength training. Strength training. Now remember what I said earlier. Your body does not want to build muscle. It's very resistant to build it because this is active tissue. Muscles help you move. And it's very expensive to make this, right? So if your body doesn't want to make this, we have to force it on. And you force it on with strength training. Because strength training is going to be the stimulus to put this on. And I'm not talking about, oh, I did a cardio class and I used weights in the cardio class. That's not proper strength training. And we're going to cover that in a second, what that is. So let's talk about the diet. Okay, using Sally as our hypothetical scenario here. Again, I don't know who's listening to this on the other end, but in this scenario, Sally weighs 120 pounds. So let's set this up. So she's 120 pounds. We're going to multiply her body weight by 15. Okay, and this is going to give us about 1,800 calories per day. And again, it's a rough rule, but this is enough calories to be in that calorie surplus to give Sally the ability to put on that muscle tissue. Okay, so 1,800 calories a day. Again, every person's different. Every person's metabolic rate is different. So this number may be higher, may be lower. In the link below, I have a copy of my blueprint book. And in my blueprint book, I outline exactly what you should be doing to figure this out for your goal. So I would definitely recommend picking that up. But we'll go with 15 because we want to, Sally, the main goal with this is to actually put on 10 pounds of quality muscle, not 10 pounds of fat, which the mistake most people do. So in order to avoid adding body fat, we want to add muscle. She needs to be consuming around 1,800 calories per day. To do that, that puts her in a calorie surplus, which will give her body that stimulus. Now, the bonus thing here is we got to make sure we're getting in adequate amounts of protein. Protein has a twofold effect when you eat it. One, your body has to heat up a little bit to burn off those extra calories, so it's going to avoid excess body fat being added on. But two, in this case, it's going to give our body the building blocks it needs to make muscle. Essential amino acids or good quality protein is essentially muscle. So when you eat muscle, you kind of gain muscle, so to say. It doesn't really work like that, but you get the idea. So like, what does this look like, right? This looks like steak and meat, protein. So low-fat sources of protein, high protein sources are going to be the best for building muscle. So we got to make sure we're getting those essential amino acids in, and you get that through quality protein forms. Chicken breast, lean meats, protein powder, fat-free cottage cheese, fat-free Greek yogurt, egg whites. Those are the best forms of protein to get. So now we need that protein, and how much protein should we actually get? So Sally weighs 120 pounds. So at a minimum, we're going to multiply this by 1. At a minimum, she needs about 120 grams per day, give or take. But this is going to be a good starting point for Sally in order to tell her body like, hey, put those 10 grams of protein inside this muscle to build and maintain more, plus the stimulus that we're going to give it after. Now, what type of diet structure should we follow? Oh, Anthony, I want to gain muscle only. I don't want to gain fat. So I think if I do this with a low-carb approach, I'm going to get there. Or, I think I should do high fat. Or I think I should be a vegan. It doesn't really matter. Insert diet here. The best structure to follow, and the whole thing with all this presence is we want to try to get there as fast as possible. So that means that we have to be on the perfect timeline. In order for us to be on the perfect timeline, we need to follow a diet structure that's going to work the best. And that diet structure is going to be flexible dieting. This is something that we preach. This is something that I teach to all of our clients here. Flexible dieting allows you to be flexible with your approach. So what that means is our bodies does not discriminate against foods. So if me and you have pizza right now, it's not like our body's going to say, oh my God, pizza, that's it, put in the love handles. It doesn't work like that. Your body just sees protein, carbs, fats. Doesn't discriminate about what, it just sees those amounts. So with that said, having a flexible approach to your diet is going to make it a lot easier to be on the perfect path as opposed to an oopsies path. So for example, you told me, hey, I want to follow a low carb approach, and now it's your birthday and you want to have some birthday cake. Well, birthday cake really isn't low in carbs. So the problem is going to be then you're going to have an oopsies day and it's going to push this timeline out more. And we want to avoid pushing this timeline out more. We want to get there as fast as possible and maintain it as much as possible. So with a flexible dieting approach, you can factor in 300 calories from birthday cake and still be on the perfect trend, as long as obviously you get your protein in and hit the other macros that we outlined. All of this is in the blueprint book, which is below, so you can pick that up. Now, let's talk about workout structure. How do we stimulate our body to build this, right? Why does our body want to put this on? We have to force it on. So that's going to come to our workout structure. So what type of workout program should we be following? And like I said earlier, you don't want to be doing, oh, I did a boot camp class and I used 10-pound weights in the class. That's not strength training. Strength training is big compound movements done with progression over time. So what that means is when you do something like a barbell squat off of a squat rack, you're going to work over 280 different muscles of your body. So let's say Sally, in our hypothetical case, squats 45 pounds today for 10 reps. Good. Her body says, okay, I need to maintain this stimulus, this muscle, I need to maintain that on Sally's body because she did 45 pounds. Now, next time she comes to the gym or whatever, 2 times from then or whatever it is, Sally does the squats again. Now she does 50 pounds for 10 reps. Her body says, wait a minute, Sally did 5 pounds more. I need to put more of this tissue on so I can support Sally for her to do that again. So that's how it works. And then over time, Sally will go from squatting 45 pounds to squatting 75 pounds. That 35 pounds or 30 pounds, whatever she added, is going to equate to her body putting on more muscle tissue for her to do this again. So that is how it works. So the workout structure that we're going to be following is going to be 3, again, every person's a little different, but 3 to 4 times per week, full body routines. Now, the reason why I like full body routines is because our whole body is going to get the stimulus it needs 3 to 4 times a week, which is much better than splitting it up. And you're going to be doing movements that utilize a lot of muscles at once. So you're going to be doing squats, barbell squats. She's going to be doing deadlifts, barbell deadlifts. She's going to be doing barbell bench press. She's going to be doing barbell overhead. She's going to be doing an inverted row of some sort, and so on. But these movements utilize the most amount of muscle possible. And the rep range that she's going to be using, again, it's going to be different for every person, but anywhere between 8 and 20 reps. I know it's a big range, but you have to kind of find that range that's comfortable for you to work in and consistently be progressing with that. All right? So that's the workout structure that we're going to do. 3 to 4 times a week, full body routines in order to put this 10 pounds of muscle on. Now, let's talk about cardio. So if your goal is to build muscle, the key is we want to build lean muscle. So should you be doing cardio? The answer to that is maybe. Maybe yes, maybe no. I'm not a fan of doing a lot of cardio. Instead, I like to give our clients a step goal, because by setting a step goal, it gives us an even playing field for us to say, okay, look, Miss Sally, Sally, I want you to do 8,000 steps a day. So this way we can monitor and track, okay, she's doing 8,000 steps a day. She's actually losing weight. We need to pull that back a little bit. So steps, again, same way with your diet, your body doesn't discriminate against the cardio activity you do. It just sees the steps. So in this case, again, I don't know who Sally is exactly, But we'll start with around 8,000 steps per day as a general rule. Step goal per day. Okay? So that's her step goal. That's the cardio she's going to be doing. Whether she wants to do those 8,000 steps with a walk outside or whether she wants to run on the treadmill, doesn't matter as long as she hits that 8,000 steps per day. Now, the key with this is building muscle, as I could show you and told you, is a slow process. Very slow. It's like watching paint dry. So how do we track and monitor to make sure that we're doing this correctly? Well, the way we do that is first and foremost, we need to track our diet. 70% of our results are going to come from what we eat, so we have to make sure that our diet is tracked properly. And we make sure our diet's tracked properly, we're going to use our blueprint book. And again, you can click the link below for that. But in the blueprint book, and the reason why I like using the blueprint book over other apps and things like that is because the best way I learned at the beginning was to write everything down. Yes, it's at this time of recording, it's 2022. It's very annoying to have to carry around paper and pen with you, but it's the best way to learn initially. Yes, there's a ton of apps out there that you can download. The problem is when you type in chicken breast on most of these apps, there's 5,000 options. I want you to utilize just one. I want to keep it as simple as possible. So in the blueprint book, I have it laid out, chicken breast, cooked, and this is the calories and macros for it, and you just write it in every time. But writing it out actually allows you to see and experience what works better for your body. You're able to see it more, makes it a lot easier initially starting out. So that's how we're going to track the diet portion. Now, how do we track the training portion? So training portion is going to be tracked with using a workout journal. Now, you could use anything for a workout journal. You could use paper and pen, you could use a little notebook, you could use a note in your phone. Doesn't matter as long as Sally knows last time she was in the gym, she squatted 45 pounds for 10 reps. Now she's going to squat again. She needs to do 45 pounds for 12 reps. So some type of progression to force that muscle tissue on. In the link below, I also have a book for keeping track of your workouts. It's just a workout journal, pretty simple, but you can pick one of those up anywhere. So we're going to put workout journal here. All right, now, how do we keep track and make sure that we're actually gaining muscle? Again, like I said, if you put on a pound of muscle, now I'm 5'11", so if you put this pound of muscle over my whole body, I'm not even going to notice it really, especially initially. So how do we know that we're actually on the right track to build this muscle? Well, we're going to do that with a body fat scale. Now, I like using a body fat scale that syncs directly to my phone. You can go directly on Amazon. Every morning you're going to get up, you're going to go number one, number two, you're going to step on the scale, you're going to let it sync to your phone, you're not going to pay attention to that number at all, and you're going to collect that data. Every week, you're going to go in, you're going to look at the data, and some of these scales are really cool. It'll tell you like muscle, and you could track the muscle, and you'll see like your trend line. Okay, I'm going up. That means I'm gaining muscle. Or you'll see it's stable, which means you're probably not eating enough protein, or you're not giving your body the stimulus it needs, or it's going to trend down, which means you're losing muscle, which is bad, which probably means you need more calories. All this is explained in the blueprint book, but you get the idea. We want to watch those trends. That's the most important thing. And you're going to get on the scale every day. Like I said, don't pay attention to what the scale says, but we're going to look at that data once a week. So you can use a body fat scale here, Bluetooth, body fat scale. All right, and then the bonus thing that we're going to use to track, and I like this a lot, is going to be an Apple Watch. An Apple Watch is going to be able to track a lot of things for you, along with your Apple Health if you have an iPhone, but an Apple Watch is going to be able to track your steps. So that's going to be the bonus one, so we can ensure that we're hitting this. So I like Apple Watch. Again, you could use a Fitbit or anything like that, but an Apple Watch seems to be the best. So that's how you gain muscle. Very simple way to outline it, but it's very complex because it takes time and most people don't have enough patience. And I could say that because myself included. I've been working out for many, many years, and it definitely takes a while to do this. But if you follow everything I've outlined here, you're going to be on that perfect track. And in time, you will change the way your body looks. So if you have any other questions, just click that link below. Do whatever you need to do on this. Like the video, all that other cool stuff to help the algorithm out here. And it's Anthony, AB Fitness Center, and I'll catch you on the next one.